Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ortberg, thank you for the change in tone from the top at Boeing about the safety culture and the focus that you outlined in your testimony, those four principles. I wanted to drill down on the safety management system. It has been a voluntary compliance, but our law, well, really actually in the implementation of the 2015 settlement agreement, it was required to implement a safety management system. And then since we've passed legislation for a mandatory safety management system. You mentioned the expert panel. I think they were very critical of the SMS structure that existed at Boeing under that voluntary structure. So how is it that this is going to change? And will you commit today to a fully functioning safety management system that meets the FAA standards?
Senator, you're right. We've been operating under a voluntary SMS for approximately the last 4 years. And I think the Alaska door accident was a cathartic moment for all of us to step back and look at what happened and how could this happen within the safety management system. We had the expert panel. We also brought in outside consultants. The FAA did a comprehensive audit of our systems, and we found significant gaps in many of the processes that we use to implement our safety management system. Those gaps are all a part of our safety and quality plan that we're working with the FAA to improve the overall performance. I'm absolutely committed to a mandatory safety management system. I appreciate your leadership there, and we're working to get that done. Actually, I'd like to have that in place by October of this year. We've submitted our draft to the FAA, and we're absolutely committed to moving to a mandatory SMS.
Thank you. Thank you for that commitment. The expert panel couldn't have been more specific about this particular recommendation, and I think the industry writ large also thinks it's the gold standard, so certainly appreciate that. Now, when it comes to the ODA FAA oversight and the delegation of authority, this is not, I think the person in charge of this at Boeing has recently been let go or put on leave. So you can tell me how you plan to bolster this position within the company. But when you look at the issues like the MAX anti-icing system issue and the 737 rudder actuator, and these are issues that have been, the subject of, much investigation. In one instance, my colleague who's not here yet, she and I joined a letter asking, for this issue to be addressed and not delayed. So I think the committee is getting a big sense that the NTSB makes recommendations, the FAA kind of ignores them, and then it takes a long time for them to be addressed. And what we're trying to understand is in the ODA process, what structure and oversight, before we hear from the FAA on this point, what do you think about these incidents not being addressed in the oversight process? Like the anti-icing system and the rudder issue.
Senator, we've taken a look at the IG report, which has several recommendations, a series of recommendations to the FAA. Many of those recommendations require support from the Boeing company to provide information and data. So I can assure you they'll get full support to ensure that they have access to all the information they need. Now, on a higher level, the ODA, as you know, is a delegation that the FAA provides to us to do some work that a typical FAA inspector would do. I think the ODA is an important element of the success of the aerospace industry. The people that are ODAs in our organization operate independently. They operate on behalf of the FAA. They have direct line of communication with the FAA, and we've made, as a part of the feedback, we've made changes to our ODA organization structure to ensure that they're not feeling pressure from management to do things that are not proper, and I think that's been effective. We put an ombudsman in place for the ODAs, so they have someone to go to if they see something that they don't like or they're feeling any kind of pressure, they can go to the ombudsman. I think that's helping. And we also survey them to continue to ask them, do they feel undue pressure from management or undue oversight from management to do their jobs?
I see that my time is expiring now. I just want to get in this point. You're committing to fix those flaws that I just mentioned, and you, we can come back to this maybe in a second round, but what are you doing to fix the design and manufacturing defects so that they're not submitted to begin with to the FAA? And so I think as we have to think about our oversight of FAA and the role they play, we're trying to understand what isn't working in this process, that both at the manufacturing level, we have these defects, and then yet they get, checked off on a list. Oh, yeah, that's in compliance. And so I don't know if you have a quick answer to that, but.
Senator, we're working, I mentioned the fuselage improvements. We've got over 1,000 applications where we're working with our supply chain to improve the number of defects. I think a main component of that is we have to get to root cause. We can't just fix the defects. We have to get to root cause and make sure the defects go away. So we've enhanced our focus on root cause analysis and ensuring that we're understanding where these defects are being generated and that we're stopping the defect generation so that we're not dealing with them. That's the fundamental improvement that I think we'll see.
And then making sure that the attention is focused not by a business person who's saying we have to go fast.
Yeah, look, I want to be clear. I've not provided financial guidance to Wall Street for the performance of the company. I've not provided guidance on how many aircraft we're going to deliver. I've gone and gotten financial coverage so that we can allow our production system to heal. I'm not pressuring the team to go fast. I'm pressuring the team to do it right.
Thank you.
That's the most important thing we can do at this point.
I agree. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.